So we went on a trip back in April to Guatemala. We're in Guatemala, which is in Central America. It's just below Mexico. It's a beautiful country and it's colorful and it's rich and vibrant. We had this amazing time connecting with a ministry called HopeChest. And one of the things we want to do is explain to you just a little bit of what it is, because HopeChest could be confused for something like Compassion International, but it is uniquely different than that. Not that Compassion's not good. It's wonderful. My wife and I have a number of kids we sponsor, but HopeChest affords a different opportunity. So I'm going to invite you to meet most of the team that went with us. So do me a favor. Tell me what's unique to HopeChest that made it stand out to you guys.
You communicate with these kids and they have a friendship. And we were even at one of the places where we were visiting, and this little girl came up and all she wanted to do was say the name of her sponsors out loud because she just truly loved them and had a connection with them. And I think the thing that I thought was the coolest, rather than us here in the States picking our child, we send a picture of our family or us as an individual down, and the kids down there who don't get a lot of choices in life, they get a chance to pick who they want to be friends with.
Yeah, the thing that stood out most to me was that this has a graduation date. You're not with your kid just till they're 18 or whenever they're too old or age out. You're with the community until the community is self-sustainable and they can function without the support of your finances. But that friendship that Lisa mentioned was that continues, but it's just the finances. They have a graduation date where they can officially not need those finances anymore and be self-sustainable.
Well, kind of taking off the friendship model, the other really cool thing was that even though you sponsor a child, you're sponsoring the whole family. The family has to buy into this program. So they have the place that they meet and do tutoring and work with these children. They also work with the adults. They do savings plans, help them find jobs, and just invest in the whole family.
So when we landed in Guatemala City, we drove down into Guatemala's pretty broad country. It's really wide and it stretches across the whole of Central America up in that northern area. And so we headed down into the southwest to a community called
Cuyotenango.
Yeah, so it's down in the southwest, but Children's Hope Chest gives you a certain number of years to partner. So how long will we be partnering with this community in Cuyo?
We will be partnering with them for 7 years. Normally, we would partner with them for 15, but during the COVID pandemic, they actually lost their sponsor church.
Okay. Do you guys remember any, this is one of the stories that stood out to me and made me love the program. Do you remember, why they're still able to run the program there?
They saved from the first time they sponsored. They had saved up money to be able to continue to run without sponsors.
So that's exactly right. And what was cool about that is they said this, I don't know the cultural context of it, but savings in rural Guatemala is not a thing. And they've run without a sponsor for a couple of years now. So it's one of the awesome aspects of it. So we have 7 years till they would graduate, because like you said, Joy, it's a sustainable program where we pull away eventually. The relationship remains, but the financial aspect pulls away, and they are self-sustaining. But when you saw this and you experienced a little community there, what was some of your favorite memories from being at Cuyo?
I think for me, it was the way they just accepted us. Like when we came in, we got out of the vans and they were just so excited to see us. They had I think it was like an American flag set up, and didn't they sing the Star Spangled Banner or something like that? Yeah. And that was just really cool. I thought how they just embraced us right from the get-go.
Yeah.
It was really neat.
Yeah, it was awesome.
They had a whole bunch of ladies, whose kids are in the program that came, and it reminded me so much of the kitchen here at the Foundry. They were all busy there making our lunch and chat with each other, having a good time in the kitchen, and they were all excited that we were there, and they got to bless us with the food they made.
Yeah, which was delicious. By the way, I think I ate 14,000 tortillas that weekend. They were all homemade. It was delicious. Any other memories out of Cuyo that stood out to you?
The day we were actually there was my birthday, and it's just really cool to see how even in a place where they don't have as much as we have here, they were so generous with what they gave. They gave me a piñata. They got me a cake. They're just super generous with
Yeah.
how they gave.
Yeah, they were, and everybody was like celebrating someone they didn't know. Yeah.
And I think that's the cool aspect of this is it's clearly a partnership. It's not just us going and helping, but they're investing in us as well.
Yeah.
And so it's a friendship, and I think that's the really cool aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I super agree. Was there anything that you experienced where you felt like maybe you saw God's plan for this community when we were down there, like maybe a glimpse or a vision of what God could be doing through this?
Yeah, I remember when we went to the house visits, we went to a house where it was a single mom, I believe, and she had 12 kids. And one of the little boys, they're not able to go to school every day. I don't remember why, but just they could only go a few days a week. And the little boy was doing homework, but his mom didn't know how to help him. So right when we got there, he started doing his homework, his math homework, and called my mom over, and she went and helped him do his homework. And you could just tell that he really wanted to learn. He wanted to do better, and he just didn't know how. He didn't have the help. So she got to help tell him how to do it, and you could see how after he learned the process, you could just see the change of just the way he viewed his school.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Any other experiences when we were there? I think of the lady who, how many chickens did she start with? They're very
12 or 15.
Yeah. And she's like the Chick-fil-A of Southwest Guatemala now. No, but seriously, somebody tell the story. We got to visit her house. Tell that story.
Well, she was given that little start of chickens, and one of the rules I just remember Sam saying was that they couldn't eat them. Right, that was one of the guidelines that they had, was they wanted them to use the chickens for to develop their business. And so when they did, she was really excited to show us her business, not only because she had a lot of chickens after that. I don't think we could even count them that she had in the backyard. But also she had something that was the only house I think we saw that, but she had this really beautiful tile floor that she had put into that one area of her house. And she was so proud of that, because that's what, with the money that she had gotten from selling the eggs and exchanging chickens, she was able to do a pretty significant thing to her home. And she had her parents living there, I believe, and she had some, at least one of the kids that we saw. Yeah. So that was just her ability to do something, get something really small and be able to grow it into something bigger. And then, as I recall, she's also teaching other people how to do that as well.
Yeah. Wasn't she the first person to save there? She's the first person that believed in their savings account. She's done a roof and the flooring, and her husband also was like, I'm kind of into this savings thing you're doing, because life is on the up. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. How did you feel about the kids? Did you feel like they were hungry for connection with us? How'd you feel about that?
So contrasting, we went into this lady's house and she was so proud. I think she also bought a refrigerator. I just remember she was very proud of that.
Yeah.
And so it was fun for her to invite us in. And then I contrast it to the families that aren't yet in this program and they're hoping to be a part of the program. And we went into their house and they were very willing to have us and happy, but it wasn't proud. It was more like they knew that they wanted help and they were hopeful. And so I think they wanted us to come to their house, not to show us what they had, but maybe to say, what can you do to help us? Because these kids need to go to school and we need to learn how to do this better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Do you remember anything from the tutoring time? Remember when they said, okay, the kids are going to do schoolwork, help them. And I was like, oh.
How not smart we seem.
Yeah,
that's what I
felt
felt
like. I'm sorry.
I don't know Spanish. How do I say cherries in Spanish?
I remember how little Spanish I retained in school.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. But wasn't it funny? I felt like they were so forgiving, and so just thankful for you to come over and like help as best you can. I got laughed at a lot because I think I said words wrong.
I think they were
But
nervous too. It seemed
Yeah.
like they were a little nervous to how to interact with us and whatnot as well.
Yeah.
A little bit initially.
But they were very quick to challenge you guys to a game of soccer
Yes.
and win.
Well, we would have won, but Aaron was wildly dehydrated. There was a hydration issue. It's no. We were a man down. Danny's still not okay that we lost. And I remember Danny doing lunges every morning around Guatemala. They had to be like, there's the American who walks funny. And he's like prancing around. All right. So what do you, what would make you, because we came back and we were like, this is a good thing. And this seems like the best thing we could be doing as a church. What would you say to our church? Like, why should we do this?
So we've also sponsored other children through other organizations. This one is very unique. It was just super cool because as the Foundry, we will be adopting a community. So the child that the Brinks adopt and the child that, we can adopt, they live in the same community for the same goal, helping each other. And I just think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we're also being invited to go and visit them regularly. I think that's very unique. There's not a lot of that connection with a lot of other programs. They do a lot of wonderful things, but the relationship, they're taking it to the point where they want us to visit the community. So anyone who sponsors one of these kids or anyone who has this partnership with a family, you have the opportunity to go and visit them and actually get to know them and build that relationship tangibly. So.
Yeah.
And it's very open as well. So when we do go down, the week that a team is there, they can do a VBS if they want to. They can do something on marriage. It just depends on who's going and what the strengths that we have that we can bring down.
Yeah, I had forgotten about that. We could bring some that goes strength to weakness, and same for them. I like that. That's true, Shelley. They did say come down and be active. I think that's a huge aspect to it. Okay, any experiences that you just want to share that were like they're just kind of cemented in your mind as like, this is one of those kind of memories I'll hold on to from my time in Guatemala, other than walking in on somebody in the bathroom. That's a story we don't have to tell, but I will never get the sound of that scream out of my head. Wow! Yeah, it was an accident and all was fine. I just know somebody walked away going, I didn't see a thing, I promise, and it was awesome. All right, let's stick to the topic. Anything you walk away with going, this is something I want you to experience, that you want other members of our church to get. What's one of those kind of core things? Even if it was Antigua, experiencing kind of a colonial Spanish city in the mountains of Guatemala, to the coffee plantations you got to visit, to the different communities you were in. Anything that stood out to you that you're like, I wish more people would get this?
I thought it was really cool because it was Danny's first time in a developing country, and it was just cool to see it through his eyes almost, and seeing how just different, like you hear about it, there are movies about the difference of our cultures and everything, but it's really cool to just see how, like, if you've never seen how other people live, and I think that's so important to the way that we live back here when you come home. So I think it's really important that other people get to go experience that and come home and understand just a different culture, and that we all live at the same time in the same world, the same years, but it's just so drastically different. And they're the same people too, and they have the same jokes, and so I think it's cool for people to see that and come home. Yeah.
And it's beautiful. I mean, it's green. It's beautiful. Hills, and that was fun. And the people are beautiful. They're one of them had a tuk-tuk, which is a little I don't even know what you call it.
It's a tuk-tuk.
A tuk-tuk.
Yeah, that's the right thing.
Tuk-tuk, tuk-tuk, and they took a couple people around on it, whether they were supposed to or not. But it was just so much fun for them
there it
to
is.
share.
Rule breaker.
Yeah.
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 Right.
And Sam was not happy. He's like, they're going to be kidnapped. That was awesome. Yeah. Yeah. And I think for me, like even seeing the really, really poor, and you realize like, okay, there's good that needs to be done, but also they added to my life. Like I just think of how intentional, Sam was towards us and making sure we were well cared for and kept safe and different things. And the communities welcomed us so generously. Even the one that didn't plan on us coming, they were already an established group. They gave us that coffee. Remember, we drank so much. It was such good coffee. And then tamales. And they were so generous, and they will never receive anything from us. But they just gave. And I think, there is such a mutual gift in the relationship. Anything else you want to add before we sign off on this? Reasons you should go, core memories, anything like that?
I think one thing that I was reminded of when I went there was the faith is the strength of their faith. They are in very different situation with their needs, and I think that's one of the values of traveling there, to see that is that you realize that we all serve the same God. We all have the same needs. There's sometimes can be a little more on the physical or on the physical side of things, but the fact that they rely on Him daily to provide for them on some of their most basic needs just makes that their faith even stronger. And so that's an encouragement for somebody like myself, who I don't necessarily see that need quite so sharply, or I don't see that brought into relief so much in my life on a day-to-day basis. It's just good to be reminded of how faithful God is in those times when it's when the needs are the greatest.
When it is their daily bread.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I will say the trip down and our time there was an absolute adventure. For me, traffic was worse than we planned, and we made so many memories. We had a lot of fun. I would say we came out of it friends, better than we already were, and I would encourage any of you in this church to be a part of how God's changing the Foundry through Guatemalan connection, and how the Foundry is going to influence and change Cuyotenango and bring a gospel impact into that region. So we want you to be a part of it and go on an adventure. Get out of your safe, comfortable, and get to know somebody who maybe you don't speak the same language, but you serve the same God. So thank you to the panel. Thank you to the host. We're out.